to start recording. The thing is, if I don't want to post them all back to back because people are busy, and I don't think they'll, they're going to tune in every day. They're doing other stuff. So
Sure.
maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the first of Thursday.
Next month, whatever. After the thing.
We don't want to wait next month. Next month is 2 weeks from the event. So, good. Thanks, Scott. Really appreciate you joining in. And you are where today? Where's your...
Today I'm at my home office in Florida, just north of Orlando. And it's...
You don't have to travel that far. Yeah, it's awesome.
Nope. I heard our company actually now has an Orlando office, which I have been the Orlando office for years. And now we have about 3 or 4 people in the area because we're doing some work out at the Orlando airport and other work. So one day there might be a formal
you might go in
Beck office. I probably won't have to go there. So
right.
That'll be fun.
Look, you've been doing extraordinary work for 25 years, and your work caught my attention and a lot of people's attention back when you were with Vought Fry. Before the acquisition, doing extraordinary details and pushing Revit far. And now you work with Beck, which is an interesting company. They are accountable for their own designs. And you oversee that architecture and construction side of technology. And if people haven't, if they're not familiar with your work, we've done a couple of chats before on how you're using real-time visualization to resolve constructability issues. The ideas you had around documentation that turns documentation on its head. I don't think you're thinking out of the box for the sake of it. You're trying to solve problems, and you do so in the most interesting way. So, how did you get here? What brought you into the build construction space?
I love building models. I always have. And so that you can trace that line back to when I was a kid and building models in the sandbox with who knows what, right? Lincoln logs and all that, right? My dad would show you pictures of me.
Lincoln logs were awesome.
Yeah, right. And so, went to architecture school, got a job in architecture. And like you mentioned, I was at Vought Fry Architects probably 2 years into my career. And 1999 hit and read the Cadence article on the Holy Grail of architecture, and they talked about this software called Revit that was coming out, and it was gonna, revolutionize, much like we hear about AI today, right? We've got new technology emerging, right? And at that time, just so happened the person I was working for, great man, Joe Fry, he was like, give it a try. $99 a month. I don't like Autodesk. They're going to make us upgrade, and I don't want to do that. They keep increasing what they charge. So we tried it out, and the rest is history. So that was what was cool about Revit, right? Now I'm building a building on the computer before I build it in real life.
Yeah, you're trying to test it.
I'm really excited about this year's AEC roundtable because my good friend Jim Balding's coming, and he took me away from Vought Fry.
Don't drop his name. His name is dropped enough. He's going to be doing a session too. I'll chat with him later. Anyway.
Cool. Well, I went to work with him at WATG,
right? And
was really afraid that they would make me model like seahorses and stuff because they do these crazy, Bahamas projects and. But anyway, when the economy tanked in 2008, WATG had to shut its Orlando office down. Right. And I couldn't go to any of the London, Singapore, or Hawaii. At that time, I had my wife and 4 kids and owned a home, and I'm elder in my church. And they're just like, I'm kind of where I am. I'm not leaving. And so it all sounded fun if I'd be in college. So went to another architecture firm for a while, doing a lot of healthcare projects. And I was their, what did they call it at that time? Director of, it wasn't design technologies then. But anyway, I led our Revit standards and everything. But I always just wanted to be an architect. I just like to build buildings and help people who have a vision. I'd say there's 2 kinds of architects, those who have a vision for a place and those who like to figure out how to put it together.
Right.
I'm not the visionary. I don't have this big concept of what the building should look like. I think I know good design, and I know when I go into a building if it's good or not. But I really am more of a technical architect, right? So gravitating towards building good models.
I'm just going to jump in on that topic. Yeah. Go watch the long form interview with Rick Rubin. Right? Def Jam Records, and started that company out of his dorm room. So the thing, I've always struggled with design because it's so subjective. How do I know what I should do? And in his interview, he says, just do what you like. Don't care about, I mean, obviously in architecture, we have to care about the client's needs and objectives. But I think there's also a part where you just have to be honest and say, this is not a good fit if you're being asked to be accountable for things that you really don't care about. Mm-hmm. And so I always felt intimidated by the idea of design because it was so subjective and I didn't know what somebody with more experience would like. And in the last 10 years, I'm like, I'll just do what I like. And if a client runs into me and we hit it off and our visions align, I think it's going to be easy. It's going to be great. So you say the high design of architecture, the design part is ambiguous, but you've designed things. Yeah. And I've seen photos and they're beautiful. So maybe I don't know, what don't you like about the design, or what do you like more about the solving it problem? Is it because there's an objective truth to that?
I love the teaming up. My favorite person to work for ever was a man named Mark Yoshizaki, designer at WATG, hand drawn. Like he could put on paper his thoughts. I would take those, put them into Revit, and he would be like, wow. And I'd be like, wow. And we would work together. And I'd take, the design intent and build on it. And I got to do he'd let me do like a sales office in Morocco in a neat theme. So I got to do some of that. But it's more just, I love building things, right? And so Beck has become a perfect fit for me because where I left off the story, I was at HHCP, great local firm here in Florida. And we were doing work for Disney, and you were kind of like, can we share our model? It was just at the time when you're like a little hesitant. I know I built a good model, so I'm happy to it, but people aren't sure. Are they going to read it wrong? Are they going to find 3,000 clashes and poke holes in that kind of stuff? So going to Beck, where integrated architecture and construction is the best. Like I remember thinking, even when I was in Colorado, that design build was the huge win for something like Revit, right? Because the ability to extend, and we're going to talk in this session about extending. Marshall McLuhan's, one of his 4 laws is technology extends a human capability, right?
Let me jump over to that title. It is Marshall McLuhan's 4 Laws of Media, a powerful tool for assessing technology adoption. What got you clicked onto Marshall McLuhan? That's like, I love that kind of connection in persuasion, media, rhetoric, trying to change behavior, trying to predict how behavior might change. What was the connection there?
So a new friend of mine, Anthony Deal, I met him. He's a creative director at a company called Ligonier. And he came over to our art studio and we started chatting. And at that time, the church I was a member of and an elder at, we were looking at doing a sanctuary. And they had asked Beck to propose on it. So I had never designed a church. We have a great group that does that. And so I started thinking about, everyone was thinking about, what's it going to be, right? Is it going to be, stained glass?
If you ever want to split a church into 2 new churches,
this is a way to do it, right?
Building. Right.
And so anyway, our church had always worshiped in a gym. and because it was attached to a school, and that was fine because we were making the best use of whatever space we had, right? And so that informed the way you worship, right? And so if you go into a cathedral in, Europe, you're going to worship in a different way because the space tells you what to do, right? Architecture, if done well, tells you what you're supposed to do in it, right? And so we were chatting one day.
You're talking about like a casual reverence kind of emotion that comes with the gravitas or the informality of a space.
Right. Take any space. And that's why like having this discussion at this AEC roundtable is the perfect location to do this because we're in the live oak hammock. There's nature all around. There's people who want to have good conversation. It's a very human place to talk about technology's impact on humanity and where that would go.
Yeah, it's a much quieter place. That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, my friend Anthony would go to churches and help them that wanted to add a technology in to think about it. And he used these 4 laws to do that. So like, let's say you wanted to have a more contemporary style worship. So you were going to put you needed your room to be dark. And so windows weren't going to be a good thing.
More theatric in that sense.
Right.
Yep.
You wanted a perfect sound system, right? Well, using those 4 laws, you would answer some questions, right? Well, so if we do this, what's it going to extend? Well, okay, it's going to extend our ability to make the room whatever we want it to be. It might reverse some things. What's it going to reverse? Well, are you going to want to have a wedding in a room that's all black?
That's all dark with no windows, right? What do you do?
Are you going to want to have a funeral in that space? So you start thinking through what's the highest purpose, what's the highest use of a space, and how should it be designed in that way. So that's kind of the entry into...
Look, that's interesting. You could do an architectural studio around that.
Oh,
I love this idea of cross-pollinating.
So for architecture. And that's why I thought I want to take the areas that architects are responsible for, right? We're responsible for life safety and, code compliance, human flourishing, right? We build spaces that if they fall down, we're going to get sued, right? But we also create environments for humans to live in, right? And so as we look at which AIs to adopt, part of it's really selfish. Like, I don't know where to focus my attention on anymore. What should I be working towards? What should I work on? So if we take this tool, and I don't know how much you want me to say about the tool right now. I want to save a lot of that for the class.
What, around AI?
No, the 4 laws, how you
the thing. Well, okay, yeah. Don't want to give anything away, too much away. But if there was a book or a video, anything where someone would say, "Okay, I want to learn more about this concept or read about this approach," is there anything in particular that resonates?
Reading Marshall McLuhan's a little bit difficult. It's not too difficult.
What about interviews? I mean, a lot of these guys in the mid 60s, mid 50s, they were doing long form interviews, everybody smoking on the set. But there must be something that, or maybe someone should just look them up and look for long form.
Yeah, I think the easy, if you just Google 4 laws, media ecology, the media is the message. And that's the big thing that starts to draw you in is, I didn't understand this. How's the medium the message? That doesn't make sense to me.
We had to read that. So my first degree was in communications and literature, and we read that book, and it just maybe it was the kind of onomatopoeia of the title. I didn't get it until later when we were doing political research and talking about the Nixon Kennedy debates. And if you listened, people thought Nixon had won, but if you watched, they thought Kennedy had prevailed. And I thought, the medium influences the message so much,
right?
Such that it gets poked at now. That guys, you can be a beautiful actor or actress, and if you have what is that thing in the Team America World Police movie? It was like, we read things in the news and repeat them. Right. So, but they're attractive, and if you just go around believing what attractive people say, you might have problems. But then again, people who don't fit that media style They get locked out. I don't know that we could ever elect an unattractive political leader. It seems like
or someone at least not compelling, someone who's not compelling on stage, right?
Right. Well, maybe we have. I don't know.
Well, and yeah, that's a whole different discussion. You can see
it's
the
a whole
trend.
different thing.
Yeah. But that idea, once it sinks in, so when you look at a tool, right, and you want to say this tool is neutral, that's, to McLuhan, BS. There is no neutral tool, right? And people want to say, yeah, no, a tool can be used for good, it can be used for evil.
Yeah.
Well, when he talks about the media as the message, it's the systems that the tool changes about humanity that I want to dig into. Right. So there was another book, a really interesting book a number of years ago called Re-Engineering Humanity. And it went through how every tool man has made has remade man, right? So every tool we've ever made.
Oh, yeah, we think we're changing technology, and to a point, technology
right.
changes us. I mean, I would argue that we're probably, in some ways, we're much the same that we always have been since we've been writing this stuff down.
Yeah.
You know, if you read the works of, like if you read Marcus Aurelius' journal, if you read St. Augustine, the things that he complained about and, you know, the boorishness of students, we haven't changed that much. However, we should recognize that how we project and perceive, like I'm not thinking about what I'm going to eat tonight. It's not got me the first thing in the morning, but there was probably a time where somebody had to get up and go, okay, I got to go find dinner.
Yeah.
So if that happens, and in your outline for the session, you talk about understanding what technology is doing, but then acknowledging what it's also taking away and being aware of that.
Yes.
Because we will lose something important when we go down this. And I don't think it's not just the seduction and speed of AI. I love having this library of all humanity for all time that I can ask questions to. And it makes drawings and it will answer questions back. And I love this kind of framing. But a recent survey shows that AI, the most frequent use of AI was for psychology and self-help.
Yeah.
And is that good to always be talking to not your best friend when you want to, when you have something that's burdening you? I mean, what's it taking away?
And that's exactly why I wanted to talk with this group of people about these tools, because it is what we might lose, right? The people that come to this conference, this roundtable, you know, we're not in Vegas where everything's man-made and the technology is glittery and shiny. We're in a room with a fireplace, real stone. One of the coolest things McLuhan talks about is you can't know something until you touch it, right? AI can't know anything. Right. Like, it can read about it. It can
repeat stuff really seductively. Like, it can make you think it is, but I agree.
Think about a stone in that fireplace in that room we're going to sit in, right? You don't know a stone till you've touched it, right? A stone could be cold. It could be hot. You could try and lift it, feel its weight. You don't know till you push on something what it really is, right? So you can have so anyway, what was I saying about the medium is the message? Oh,
the medium is the message. So how is AI as a medium going to influence us?
Yeah, and then you brought up what might we lose, which is the what does a technology make obsolete, which is one of the 4 laws, and even more than what does it make obsolete, what does it potentially reverse? And one of the scariest examples I've already seen at our company is I saw a help desk ticket come through. Hey, I'm out of my 4,000 generative AI Adobe credits. I can't do my job. Until I get the pro package with 10,000. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to lose the ability. Like right now, if I want to work out a detail, right, I might be in Revit and I might have to, let's say the power goes down. I can still pull up a pen and paper and start to sketch this is the gyp board, this is the metal stud, maybe I'm going to put this over here, and I can keep working, right? So I am a little bit afraid of what do we lose, because I have seen
people lock up
with the technology, even with Revit, right? We've lost something, right? People will block out views of a model, but not think through the details. They just think, oh, well, it looks like that. And it's, so the loss.
Look, I got to say, as a corollary to that, I am seeing a lot of people go back to first practices where they're sketching on top of photographs. One guy's talking to, actually Chris Cousin, he's coming as well with Labella, taking Sketchbook Pro and sketching on top of it, and then prompt, take it back to Sketchbook Pro, work on it. So it's like, are we using a new tool to go back to first practices, which is a thing that I think we also do. There's a lot of tangled thoughts going into this, because I think we need to sort out, like, you can't use Revit accidentally. And one of the challenges with AI is it's so easy to start to use, but you can get to a point where, I can't work because my Adobe credits are exhausted. So we need, there's going to be a session I'm going to do on onboarding, like proper onboarding for existing, and people go, oh, it's easy, I know how to do it. But there are lanes you got to stay inside of, giving people good best practices. Because if you use it accidentally, you may not get desired results. Being thoughtful about it.
You just touched on the fourth piece. One of the 4 laws is what does it retrieve? What does it bring back?
Right.
And that's right. That's, it extends something, but it's also bringing back. So you're pointing out, oh, wow, this gives back to an older architect who never was able to model in Revit. Like, oh, I can sketch and I can then see that. Well, let's talk about that too, right? That's what I say. None of it's not neutral. These are all real things that any technology is going to do. Like, McLuhan challenges anyone who can come up with a 5th law or remove one. I can't remember what he promises to give, but he and his group, they could not identify.
It was the 4 laws.
It was 4. These are the 4 things that any technology will do. And so that's why I want to take each of these potential uses. What do we use generative AI for? Okay, we can do these renderings immediately. What does that make obsolete? What does that retrieve? What does it reverse if pushed too far, right? What is it? It obviously extends. Those are easy to answer. So
look, anyway, Jim's going to talk about, and I'll have a chat with him this week about this idea that technology is compressing effort to fewer and fewer people. And maybe we don't see it in the moment, but if I look back and think, okay, 20, 30 years ago, I would have a team of 6 people, somebody on the plan, somebody on the sections, somebody on the elevations, someone's on the details, someone's managing the project, someone's doing a rendering somewhere, at the beginning, and maybe a hero rendering at the end. I look at what Jim's doing, and he's doing plan sections, elevations, detail schedules. He's doing the renderings. He's now not over modeling, and he's prompting ahead of the design using Veris. Are we actually getting we've had this mythology of the architect being the master builder, but I don't know. It seems like we're compressing a lot of effort into fewer and fewer people. And as long as it's predictable and manageable, maybe as long as it's enjoyable, I think that's what, not just seductive and easy in the moment, but people actually enjoy doing it, or it creates, it seems that when I'm using Veris, I get output in excess of what I think was the input. And it surprises me sometimes. I like being able to go back to a pen and sketch and then prompt and then. So I think you're onto something. I do want to mention something. In your registration form, we have a dietary restrictions or requests. And, because maybe, people are vegan, they're different menu styles, lifestyle choice, but you put whatever Chef Charles is cooking.
So that, okay. I'm so glad you said that, because I had written this down and I really wanted to mention this, right? One of the things that I think is critical to think about is, like, what is work for? Why do we work? and what makes work good. And so let's say, what if you could push a button and get the exact same food Chef Charles is going to cook, right? Would you push that button?
I wouldn't get Chef Charles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to eat Chef Charles' food because we know his love went into the making of that.
Absolutely.
He gets great enjoyment from serving it, great enjoyment from seeing our face light up when we take a bite of his wonderful tomahawk steak or whatever it is, right? So one of the fears I have, and like the idea of guardrails and fences are important things to consider when you're like figuring out how to use a technology. Where should there be any, right? And
where are the edges?
Like, if the computer could create my home with a push of a button, would I want it?
Right.
Would I want any work that hasn't been done out of love, right? So anyway, I thought that was an interesting thought that occurred to me, like, oh my gosh, all these promises, like, oh, it's going to do the drafting for me. It's going to do this for me. It's going to do that for me. I don't know if any of that's really possible, but I do see the concern of losing subject matter experts. How do we maintain, you brought up a really interesting thought a while back, right? AI, we've had carbon-based AIs for years, architectural interns. Yeah. Well, if you as the wise designer can do your sketch and put it in the machine and the machine can take it from point A to B, how is the carbon-based AI ever going to learn to do your job if they haven't been taught by the master, hey, this sketch means this, go work it out, right? So these are the conversations I really want.
Carrie Thompson brings that up. We have ongoing discussions about this. He goes, how does the intern get experience if we don't have interns? And I think my goal is that the interns will have interns. The goal is not to have interns. You still want all of the serendipity and to pass on the experience and have the better stories. You don't just want the end product. You want to have a beautiful process, and having interns is important. They need that mentoring and experience and shared wisdom. So I think to your point, we have to create an environment, because when the interns have interns, we'll want them to use the digital interns wisely. You got to ask it the right question. And I think that's a really profound thing about AI. You get shit answers if you don't ask the right question. But if you really give it some thought, sometimes if you ask it, what do you need to know to do this? And it will give you 10 things. Here's what I want to know. And it gives you a more interesting result. Yeah, I don't think the technology is going away. It's not because it's seductive, but it is ease of use. It is speed. It's also results. I think, but the biggest part is it feels natural because we're returning to first practices. This is mostly with AI around visualization. There was an artifact, and I missed it 35 years ago. I was so keen to move into Revit, back in 2000, 2001. And that is, we used to sketch. It was the easiest way to fail. We used to sketch. And once we got on a vector, we would start then committing to hard lines and CAD.
Yeah.
And then when Revit came along, it was so amazing because I could build a model, and then all of my hard lines and all of my renderings were an artifact of the upfront cost of building a model. But sometimes spending all of the time to build the model and the materials and the content and geometry, and then the client goes, I don't know. And the nice thing with sketching is you could sketch and the client go, I don't know. And you could fail so elegantly with sketching. And that's what I think is really powerful about this process, is we're going back to sketching, and the results look photorealistic, but it's really this rapid iterative process that allows you to fail elegantly. And then when you get on a design vector, you start the hard lines, you start the Revit files, and it's the return to first practices that it affords that I think is what's really interesting. But we also have to be aware of what it's going to take away.
Exactly.
Mark's sketching at WT&G, or maybe he sketches in a different way now.
Yeah. So. Or what if he doesn't need me anymore?
Nah, I think he'd still pick up the phone if you call.
But
yeah,
no,
it's good. Whatever Chef Charles, it's not the product. I want the process. I want Chef Charles to come out wearing a pink cowboy hat and bringing a cowbell and announcing and presenting, and the joy that comes with that. It's not just calories with flavor.
No, it's not, right? You want the chef to come out of the kitchen and come talk to you and tell you why we were at this Italian restaurant the other night, and the chef came out and he wanted to tell me why his Marsala was better than anyone else because it came from his hometown, which was Marsala, and the ones in California, they put artificial coloring in theirs. It's not that rich, dark color, right? That's what you want. You want
that authentic Chef Charles.
Right.
All right, man. Scott, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We're going to have some deeper conversations, lots of opportunities. Of course, Randy with the leadership bookends to the day, and then some deep presentations and technical discussions around what we do. But yeah, out by the lake, other opportunities. It'll be great. It's always good.
Sounds good.
So let's see, September 27th through October 2nd. Early bird registration is closing on September 4th. So if you're planning to come, register now, because that way you practically get your travel for free. Otherwise, you got to pay extra, and then you got to pay for your travel. So it works out really well if you register now. Scott, see you in 6 weeks.
Can't wait.
All right, buddy.
Take care, Phil.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.